Hello guys, Tops here. Today how to fight the Abandoned Village. And the Abandoned Village is the new legendary location from the new patch 1.51. So, we have a pretty trash company, only 11 bros. Nothing we can do about that. And we will go. I leave this on the screen. You can read that if you want. Pause and read. Okay, so we have 14 opponents. 3 of them are kind of these flesh necromancers, and then 11 flesh golems. So the thing is, as you will see soon, the golems, they look scary, but they actually don't do much damage, but they disarm. As you can see, they have like the weak thug weapon. And the goal is to get on top of the necromancers as early as possible with like some real damage. That is the goal. Because the necromancers, they act like necromancers if they are engaged in combat. They cannot use abilities, and the abilities from these things are nasty. The abilities contain explosions, for instance, which is a little bit problematic. And these flesh golems look awesome, by the way. If they are killed, they do not revive, but they leave a corpse, and the corpse can be exploded by the necromancer itself. So the necromancer did not show himself. There's one here, one here, one here, I guess. There's 3 of them. So this fight can be done relatively early. Okay, there's one here. And there you saw, yeah, you see the pull abilities, basically, right? So they can, like the Kraken, pull your brothers in a bad place. This fight gets chased by dogs. Because you can just release the dogs. The dogs will help you kill these guys quick, but also the dogs will engage the necromancer in combat. Once the necromancer is engaged in combat, he will not be able to use his abilities. So our goal is to get these guys as soon as possible into combat. Right. And there you can see the explosion just happened. The explosion itself seems to have bad armor efficiency. We have, like, most of our bros don't even have nimble. So, like, if you have a full Battleforge team, this fight is an absolute joke, right? These guys daze on a hit, and they also disarm. So let's see if we can get this fight. I think it's normal that I lose a bro here. But again, we are missing 1 bro and we don't have dogs. So a solid strategy would be like early game. You'd go in with 12 bros and you release 12 dogs. And the 12 dogs should ideally carry this fight for you. Because the dogs will get on these guys, bind them up in combat, and kill them. They're actually very squishy, just like necromancers. And they're also quite good versus these guys, because the flesh golems, they are just like zombies, basically. They are not very damaging, and they're not very tanky. They do not regenerate, and they do not get resurrected. So this fight is actually relatively quick, unless most undead fights, right? As you can see, the damage is atrocious that they do, right? Also they, like, this is like a gunner who is like 0 melee defense. Can't even hit that guy. Yeah, so. The dangerous thing that this has is the tentacle displace thing, right? So you get displaced, and they like to displace you, like the Kraken, the pull attack. They like to pull you on a corpse and then explode the corpse. That's kind of like their trick that they like to do. Let's see if we can get this guy into combat. And as you can see, these golems take a huge amount of damage. Relatively easy. Thank God I had the Necromancer now on top. How much is this? Oh, he has a lot of melee defense. Actually, you know what? I don't have to send him. He can try to kill these guys. Yeah. Yeah, as you see, the dogs do a lot of damage. So if you have a full 12-man team of dogs, actually I'm quite confident you can have like low-level bros that have neither nimble nor battleforged and still win the fight just by having dogs, I would assume. But also I think they can explode the dogs, so you have to be mindful of that. And when the explosion happens, you have this toxic miasma, like the Ancient Priest, which is quite devastating, especially for low HP bros in the early game. Yeah. So I'm not an expert in this fight currently. It's like the second or third time I fight this, but it seems like you just try to get as much bros into combat with the necromancers, or like kill these and then get away from the corpses because they get exploded. Bring a full team with dogs, send the dogs kill the zombies and the necromancers, and then that should be that, right? God damn it. Get them, doggy. Yeah. As you kind of see, the pikes are doing a great job. Yeah. Now the explosion happened. That's kind of like the danger for early game teams that have not a lot of armor, not a lot of HP. You just get exploded by the bombs. Yeah, and as you can saw, we lost the first guy. And after the explosion of the bombs, we also get a lot of damage from the miasma, of course. So that's mindful. The actual auto attacks from these things are not too concerning. They seem to have very bad armor efficiency, so if you have Battleforge, you are literally immune to these auto attacks. I mean, literally. They can get injured. I'm not sure if they are affected by the injuries, but I would assume... Yeah, I would assume they might be like Berserkers, potentially immune to the injuries. At least to the effect, but still stuff like Executioner should trigger. Yeah, but you can kind of see if you don't have full company, if you don't have a lot of dogs, you kind of struggle. This is actually kind of like a basic zombie undead fight with triple necromancer, and you really suffer if you don't bring the numbers. Also, you kind of want to have, I think you want to have nimble. Like, this is one of these fights where you go in if you have a couple of nimble bros. That would be my personal timing for this fight. Like, if I have a bunch of level 7 bros and or I have a lot of dogs, it would increase the speed of the process. Right? So as you can see, no more explosions are happening, because there's only one necromancer who can do those stuff. We're also losing the whole company currently. Again, there are like ways to play this better for sure. I was quite unprepared for this fight when I went in. We suffered heavy losses in our campaign. Early on, you should have seen the campaign. It was quite funny. But as you saw, the dog just ate the new necromancer alive. So you can imagine what 12 dogs will do with them. They will just absolutely mangle them. quite certain that 12 dogs would potentially be able to solo this more or less. Yeah, it's really strong to have a lot of dogs here. Bring the volume of dogs. This guy is fleeing now, fine. We try to get all of them killed. Yeah, as you can see, the dog eating this guy away. Actually managed to go down to even numbers, huh? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, the daze is quite nasty. Also, it seems like they inflict additional fatigue, but that also could be because I have a low level team, right? That could also be. I do not want to exclude that. Even has the undead sound effect from the undead fight. So that's that. That's the fight. Okay. We lost the whole company. And we gained some weapons and some marble bust that we can sell. But now we gain the Bloodletter's Reach, which is a famed item. And you can read this, it's quite interesting. And the artifact reliquary is revealed on the map. And as you can see, this is like relatively close to the towns. This is also very close to the towns. So these things seem to be not too far away. And I would say this is probably the easiest legendary location, because your team doesn't have to be super brutal strong, it just needs to be there. And the Bloodletter's Reach, actually quite interesting. It's a quiver of arrow who inflicts additional stacking of 10 bleedings damage per turn for 2 turns. So you basically do 20 extra bleeding damage if you shoot an arrow at an opponent. It has the cleaver requirements where you have to do a little bit of hit point damage in order to trigger the bleeding. Let's see, what is the cleaver with mastery? Okay, that's another thing. I'm not sure if the arrow if this gets doubled by cleaver mastery. I'm not sure if that happens, but like I think you have to trigger like between 5 and 10 hit point damage in order to get the bleeding stack going. So like all the low and medium armored stuff gets a bleeding stack on the first hit. Even sometimes chosen get a bleeding stack on the first hit, but like if your opponent is very heavy armored, if you're unlucky and your bow low rolls, you might not get the bleeding on the first attack. You might have to bring the armor down before the bleeding occurs. Alright guys, this is how to fight the abandoned village, and I hope you had fun and learned something. Again, pretty simple fight. Bring a full company, bring a lot of dogs, get the necromancers in combat, kill these zombies, and you know, take care of your good bros. Okay guys, have a nice day. See you in the next video, and I will show you the second legendary fight in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.